In last video, we learned what is props and how can we access it from inside a function. In this video, we will learn about state, what is state, why do we need it, and how can we manage the state and how it works. In props, what happens is change in a component occur from outside the component. Like we pass the props from parent component to the children component, but we cannot change that props from inside the children component. But in state, what happens is state is managed by a component itself and change in state occur from inside the component, not from outside the component. We can change from outside the component as well, but some methods inside the component it should be responsible for causing that change. So now let's start doing code and see how state works. So for that we will make one class component. So I will delete this functional component and make one class component called child, and this class component extends react dot component. So on extending react dot component, what we get is we get some properties of this class. So one property is state, and this is what we will be learning in this video. So another method is render method. So this render method render out the JSX into the UI into the browser DOM. So in render what we do is we just simply render out a return a paragraph where we write count 0 for now, and we also we will also make one button responsible for increasing the count. So in state what we will do is here we define a count which initially is 0. So now this state is inherited from this react.component class, and in this state can be accessed here in JSX. So how can we do that? We can just simply open the curly braces and write JavaScript here, and in JavaScript what we write is this dot state dot count. So now what should be the result? Let's see in the browser. So the result is count 0, and this increase is not working as expected, right? So now we should be responsible for bringing some changes in this state from this component as I said earlier, right? So now let's create a function called handle change. This function will be responsible for bringing change in this state. So to change the state, what we have is we have a method called setState that is given by again this react.component class. So this setState method can be called like this, and from here what we can do is we can set count variable to state dot this dot state dot count. So this will be the same as 0 every time. So to increase this we will do +1 here. So now this function should be bind to the onClick event of this button. So all the event handling will be covered in coming videos. So for now just we see this like we can bind a function to some event like this. So now what happens is when we click increase, the count will increase. So we manage the state from inside the component itself. But there is a another way to do this set state as well. So let's see that. So Rather than writing this dot state dot count, what we can do is we can get a previous state as a callback in this function. So here instead of this dot state we can do previous state dot count, but we have to return this as it is a callback, so returning will be done by small bracket, or you can normally write a return and this. So this will work as the same. So now let's see it increase, and it is working. So I recommend you to do in this way. So so people often get confused why we use this set state method, right? We can directly change state by doing so. State is equal to count dot 5, like, yeah, state state won't work, this dot state will work. So this will work for sure, but what problem will occur is without calling this set state method, this render method won't fire, and when this render method is not fired, the JSX will not return. As a result, the state will be changed, but the UI will not be updated. So to get the updated UI, we do call the setState method, and this is a only way to bring change in the state. We should never do it like this way. So in this way, we can do state and manage state inside a class component. Functional component use something called hooks to manage the state. We will cover the entire hooks series in coming videos. So that's it for state for now.